The story begins with John Tyree, a tough Army Special Forces sergeant, severely wounded in Afghanistan. Blood pours from his body as his fellow soldiers try to keep him conscious. In a faint voice, John whispers, "You know what I thought at first?" His mind drifts back to his childhood. He's 8 years old inside the US Mint, watching perfect, shiny coins being made. Now he feels like one of the damaged coins with 2 bullet holes tearing through him. Before he blacks out, he whispers, "The last thing I thought of was you." Back in Charleston, South Carolina, it's February but it feels like summer. John is home on leave enjoying the beach and surfing. After riding a wave, he heads to the boardwalk to relax. A group of young people catches his eye, particularly Savannah Curtis, a beautiful, cheerful, and energetic girl. Suddenly, someone bumps her bag and it falls into the ocean. She looks frustrated as the others try to retrieve it. Without a second thought, John jumps in, dives deep, grabs the bag and swims back to shore. Savannah thanks him with a big smile. "I'm Savannah," she says. John replies politely and starts to leave, but turns back when he realizes he forgot his surfboard. Savannah invites him to a barbecue at her house. John, initially shy, hesitates but she insists and he agrees to walk with her. At the barbecue, John chats with her friend Randy, who gets awkward when he learns John is in the military. Savannah sits beside John and brings him a cold beer. They start talking easily. A young boy named Alan runs up and hugs Savannah. She introduces him to John, explaining Alan is autistic and usually quiet with strangers except for her. She's known him for years and feels like a sister to him. Alan's father, Tim, joins them for a moment before leaving with his son. John is surprised when Alan greets him. Later they try roasting hot dogs but fail hilariously, laughing the whole time. John, enjoying the moment, asks Savannah to dinner. She says yes with a bright smile. As he walks back to grab his board, he stumbles over some rocks. Tim drives up, taking Alan out for ice cream and offers John a ride. On the way, Tim talks about how hard it is to travel with Alan and how his wife often travels alone. When they reach John's place, Tim gently warns him, "Don't hurt Savannah. Her dad's my friend." He'd say the same thing. John nods and goes inside, where his father sits silently, focused on his coin collection as usual. John lets him be. The next day, Savannah takes John to Bowen's Island restaurant. He's a bit nervous but she encourages him. The owner, Steve, approaches and says firmly, "No trouble here, John." John stays calm and reassures him. Curious, Savannah asks about it but John avoids the topic. She asks more about his dad and eventually says she wants to meet him that evening. John takes Savannah home that night and tells her he's not much of a talker. But when she asks his dad about coins, something unexpected happens. Mr. Tyree lights up, talking with excitement, sharing story after story about his favorite coins. John watches, surprised by how animated his father becomes. It's late when he drops Savannah off. Before she goes, she gently says, "Don't be too hard on your dad. He loves you even if he struggles to show it." She promises they'll see each other again soon. The next evening, John looks for Savannah. He hasn't seen her all day. When he finds her, he asks where she's been. She tells him she's been helping build a house for a family who lost theirs in a hurricane. He's amazed by her generosity. She laughs off the praise, saying she's far from perfect, but to John, she seems flawless. As rain starts falling, they hide under a board and talk. There's a new, emotional tension between them, and in that moment, they grow even closer. Soon they're spending every day together, happy and in love. But time is running out. John is due to return to the army for another year, and Savannah is leaving for college the next day. Their final day together is heavy. Savannah is quiet and sad. John holds her, promising he'll return soon, maybe before she finishes school. She sighs, unsure. They talk about her studies and special needs education, and she mentions his dad, comparing his quiet nature to Alan's. John takes it the wrong way. Hurt and angry, he storms off. Later, Randy provokes him and a fight breaks out. John, trained and powerful, knocks him down. In the chaos, Tim steps in to break it up, but John accidentally elbows him in the nose. Savannah arrives, stunned by what she sees. John says nothing and walks away. The next morning, feeling guilty, John goes to say goodbye before Savannah leaves for college, but she's already gone. Tim, nose bruised and swollen, finds him. John quickly apologizes, saying he didn't realize it was Tim trying to help. Tim brushes it off with a joke, saying, "I shouldn't sneak up on a soldier, but hey, at least now I look tough." John asks if he can leave a message for Savannah. Tim hands him a scrap of paper and John scribbles a quick note, hoping she'll read it. Back home, John clears an extra plate from the table. It's just him and his dad again eating in silence. Then a car pulls up. John rushes outside and finds Savannah waiting. She hugs him tightly. "I got your note," she says. He apologizes, his voice shaking. She hugs him even tighter. "I'm sorry too," she says. "I didn't mean what I said about your dad." They make up, and before leaving she slips him a note to read after she's gone. In it, she writes how 2 weeks were enough to fall in love and how 1 year apart will be worth it. They promise to write and share everything. As she drives away, her eyes are filled with tears. John leaves too. His dad drives him to the bus station. He doesn't say much, just a quiet goodbye, but it means a lot. Back on duty, John writes to Savannah whenever he can, even during missions. The letters come slowly, but they keep each other going, sharing everything. Their days, their dreams, their thoughts. Savannah writes about seeing Alan again and how it gave her an idea. She wants to start a summer camp for autistic kids, combining open space, animals, and joy. John tells her he's proud. She also writes about visiting his dad. On her last day home, Mr. Tyree had shown her his prized coin, the 1978 Jefferson Mule, but wouldn't tell her the story behind it. In her letter, she asks John to explain. John remembers it well. When he was 7, he bought ice cream and got a strange coin as change. He showed it to his dad, who didn't recognize it either. They took it to a coin shop where a dealer offered them $20. But another expert said it was worth $4,000 and told his dad to keep it for John. From that moment, coins became a passion for Mr. Tyree. It brought them closer, at least for a while. As John counts down the days to coming home, he dreams about Savannah and their future, but then everything changes. September 11th happens. John watches the news, stunned. His commanding officer gives the unit 2 days to decide, extend their tour or go home. John makes a choice. He heads to Charleston to see Savannah. They run into each other at the airport and hold on tight like nothing else matters. They plan a dinner at her parents' house so their families can finally meet. Mr. Tyree even makes his famous meatloaf, but halfway there, he begins to panic and asks to go back home. John turns around. His dad tells him to go on without him. At the party, Randy apologizes for their fight. John nods. It's behind them now. Later, Tim and John talk alone. John confesses he waited years to hear from his mother, not knowing she was gone. His dad never told him. Now he sees Tim doing the same thing with Alan, pretending his wife is just away. Savannah's parents seem to like John, but the conversation keeps turning back to the attacks. That's when Savannah finds out John extended his deployment. She's furious and runs off. John finds her sitting alone. She tells him to leave, but he doesn't. "I want to be with you," he says, "but I have to serve. I'm still figuring out what's right." Savannah softens. "Then come with me." They sit close, holding each other. The thought of 2 more years apart feels impossible, but they hold on to love, even through the pain. The next morning, she's at the airport to see him off. His dad surprises him by coming along and quietly wishes him good luck. It means the world to John. They keep riding, but the distance starts to take its toll. Time passes and Savannah begins to drift away. The letters stop. John keeps checking the mail, hoping. Weeks turn into months. Then a letter arrives. His hands shake as he opens it. It's not what he wanted to read. Savannah says goodbye. She's engaged to someone else. John is crushed. Rage and heartbreak twist inside him. He takes all her letters, all those memories, and burns them to ash. She didn't say who the man was, but deep down John has a feeling he knows. While on patrol in Afghanistan, a local man approaches John's unit, shouting in a language they couldn't understand. John and a fellow soldier advance cautiously. A gunshot rings out. His partner is struck, but his vest stops the bullet. John is not as fortunate. He is hit twice. He later regains consciousness in a hospital in Germany. The pain is severe and recovery requires 3 months of intensive care. After healing, John re-enlists. Military service becomes his full commitment. 4 years pass. In February 2007, he is ordered home. His father has suffered a stroke. At the hospital, John stands over his father's motionless body. The doctor informs him they found his father too late. He had been unconscious for hours. John is overcome with regret for not being there. Returning to the house, John wanders through the silent rooms. He sits at the table, surrounded by his father's coin collection. He picks up the rare mule coin and writes a letter addressed to his father. Later at the hospital, he reads the letter aloud to him. His words mirror his thoughts from the day he was shot. The first image was of coins, the last thought was of his father. As he reads, emotion overtakes him. His father, with limited strength, touches John's face and pulls him close. John cries into his chest. Mr. Tyree attempts to console him but passes away shortly after. Following the funeral, John goes to see Savannah. At her home, she opens the door, surprised to see him. He informs her that his father has died. She invites him inside. As they speak, her phone rings. She steps outside. John notices framed photos on the wall. Savannah is married to Tim. When she returns, she tells him Tim has cancer. She had abandoned her goal of opening a summer camp to care for him. They visit the hospital. John asks for details. She says it's lymphoma. Inside the hospital room, Alan sits silently beside Tim. Savannah takes Alan to get cake. Tim speaks to John, expressing regret for past actions. He says Alan is now safe and that Savannah still has feelings for John, though she never admitted it. He believes she never looked at him the way she once looked at John. At home, Alan plays with the horses while Savannah expresses a feeling of helplessness. She talks about an experimental drug in Texas, too expensive for them to afford. Their beach house has already been sold and fundraising has failed. She invites John to stay for dinner. During the meal, John asks why she never contacted him. She responds that hearing his voice would have changed her decision. She explains that Tim was ill and Alan needed her. She had felt overwhelmed and isolated. John holds her as she cries. She then shows him a box containing all the letters he had sent. He accidentally spills water on her and they laugh briefly. As she changes clothes, John glimpses her silhouette through the door. They lock eyes. Neither speaks. The moment passes in silence. John leaves the next day. He sells his father's coin collection, keeping only the mule coin. The proceeds are sent anonymously to cover Tim's medical expenses. While back on duty, John receives a letter from Savannah. The donation arrived after his departure. Tim had started treatment and was able to return home, though only for 2 months before passing. Savannah reflects on how short those final weeks felt. Years later, John, now a civilian, is walking down a city street. He sees Savannah seated at a cafe. Their eyes meet. Both smile. They approach each other and embrace. Neither speaks. The years between them dissolve in the silence of reunion, bringing the movie to an end. Sometimes love doesn't end, it just changes. Dear John reminds us that love isn't always about happy endings. It's about sacrifice, timing, and the quiet strength to let go even when it hurts the most. If you've ever had to walk away from someone you loved for the sake of something greater, this story will definitely hit home. I give Dear John a 7.5 out of 10. While it doesn't break new ground in the romance genre, it delivers a sincere and emotional portrayal of long-distance love and the weight of real-life responsibilities, lifted by heartfelt performances from Channing Tatum and Amanda Seyfried. It's a tearjerker with just enough depth to leave you thinking. If you enjoyed the recap, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video for more fun movie recaps.